ask you now, given what we're experiencing with the voter suppression laws, state after state after state, and our inability to get any voter protection laws pushed through Congress, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you think it's time for Artists Against American Apartheid? Because it sure looks like that's the way we're going at this rate.
Well, if I thought it would do any good, I would be tempted to do it. But we're in a different place right now.
How can we most effectively fight now, Steven, in your view?
Oh boy, I tell you what.
Big question, I know.
Let's look in dark, okay? And I wish again. I know everybody talks about voter suppression all day long. I wish everybody would learn to use the word nullification, which is a whole lot more serious. Okay, I actually heard somebody the other day say, "Well, this voter suppression, we can't organize against voter suppression." They were saying, "Yes, you can. You shouldn't have to, okay? But yes, you can." She proved that in Georgia, Stacey Abrams. You can organize against voter suppression. You shouldn't have to, but you can. You cannot organize against voter nullification. And this is the thing that's happening. And this is the scariest thing. And I don't think people can quite accept the fact that what they're talking about, and it's already in many states' laws already. Doesn't matter who you vote for, the state legislature can throw them out and put in whoever they want. I know it's impossible to believe. People don't believe it, but it's a fact and it's happening, what do we do about this? There's gonna be, I'm sure there's gonna be protest marches. There's gonna be some kind of outcry when it finally hits the consciousness of people. But every day I wake up saying, where are the tough good guys, Glenn? Where are the tough good guys? And I'm sorry, I love Joe Biden. I do. I root for him every day. I honestly, the guy is a wonderful guy, but I'm afraid he's the right guy at the wrong time. Okay. He thinks he's Andy Griffith, and he thinks we're living in Mayberry, and so he appoints Barney Fife as Attorney General. This is not going to get the job done. 2,000-3,000 people tried to overthrow the government at the Capitol on January 6th. They've arrested 700. 30 have done jail time. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is on top of all of the administration, the Trump administration people spitting in the face of these subpoenas, ignoring them, and then we were like, well, we'll show them when we'll give Steve Bannon a court date in 6 months. That's going to really make an example out of everybody, right? For everybody. And the problem with this, aside from the fact that Trump is still walking around, okay, the guy who, obviously guilty of treason many times over, okay, in addition to being the biggest mass murderer in history, 850,000 and counting, all right, but I don't think people have ever focused on that. They got an intelligence briefing every single day, January of 2020, every single day. An intelligence briefing saying this is an emergency that you must act on right now, every day in January, which he admits to Bob Woodward on tape, like January 28th or 29th of 2020, right? He admits it, all right? If he'd acted in February, how many people are dead in America, Glenn? Nobody. Yeah. Okay, and even if he had acted a month later, it would be 50, 60,000, 850,000 and counting. We're going to probably get to 1 million eventually, right? That's him. That's mass murder. Okay?
And it's criminal. And take it from an old homicide prosecutor for decades, bringing murder cases in Washington, D.C. It is criminal. It's not political. There are only 3 things you have to prove if you want to go at somebody for manslaughter or negligent homicide. He did a grossly negligent act, which he did. That grossly negligent act was likely to result in death or serious bodily injury, which it was when it involved a deadly pandemic, and that he thereby caused the death of others. And causation, Stephen, in the law, it means your conduct was a substantial factor in bringing about death. But all three elements are there. I've been chewing on my fellow prosecutors. How are you going to let this man get away with that? I don't understand. I keep hoping justice is coming. I don't understand, though.
Well, but they better hurry because, we're only a few months away from, and same thing with the democracy protections. At some point, these courts, which we no longer can trust the courts anyway, God help us with these courts now, but the courts at some point are going to say, no, it's too close to the election to implement that. I mean, when's that? Is that 6 months before the election? 3 months? 4 months? If it's 6 months, that's April. We have 2 months to
Around
get
the
this
corner.
done, right?
Yeah.
Before they say, no, it's too close to the election, we can't implement it anymore, So there's that, and there's this weakness that we show every day that we just talked about, letting criminals run around, spit in the face, do 100, Fifth Amendments, for that creep, one after the other. And for the first time, these are having bigger consequences. Okay, the incompetence of the DNC, Triple C, DLCC, DSCC, all of the Democratic campaign organizations, their extraordinary incompetence isn't just going to lose elections for the first time. They're going to lose democracy this time.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. Can you find signs of hope anywhere? In anything you've seen, can we find some signs of hope? What do you think?
I hate to say this, Glenn. I really hate to say this, okay? Because I think about it every day, just like you do. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I said a year ago, or I don't know how long now, I'm like, the only hope we have, and I think this could be done. I may be naive or overly optimistic or in fantasy land, but I still believe there's 2 Republicans that can be converted. And have they tried that? Have they done that? Okay, because that's the only answer. The only answer is getting 2 Republicans to convert to Democrat. It's happened before, okay? And we need this to happen now and make them an offer they can't refuse. Go to Lisa McCoskey, whoever the 2 are, Susan Collins, and say, listen, whatever's legally possible. We won't oppose you. You can have the seat forever. You could have that seat forever. We won't ever oppose you. We won't primary you. Make a deal. Get somebody who can make a deal. Make an offer they can't refuse. All right. And that's the only solution that I can see. There's the 7 Republican senators that voted for impeachment. They're dead men walking. They're going to be primaried eventually. If they're not, I think 2 are retiring, and maybe there's only one. I think only Lisa is up for election this year, but they're all going to eventually be up for election. And they're all going to be disappeared. They're all going to be, get the 2 of them. Get the 2 of them. Do whatever we got to do.
Did you ever think saving democracy would be so damn hard? Just trying to sell somebody on saving democracy?
I mean, if you really, really examine it, you know what I mean, under the surface, it's always been there, I think, in the Republican Party. I mean, I think certainly since Nixon, things have changed since Eisenhower. I mean, I think Nixon was the beginning of this insidious, kind of evil, and I've never been a fan of Kissinger either, by the way. But then when it came out in the open with Newt Gingrich, who just is the embodiment of evil as far as I'm concerned, and he was the one who started to make the thing into football teams, blatantly. I've always been against the party system, saying that they're football teams, and someday it's going to come back. It's going to be a problem. And by the way, George Washington said the same thing. And
no more parties, as you said on your album. No more parties.
Yes, I got a song called "No More Parties." Okay,
Yep.
I mean, I spell it out, and here it is. So Newt Gingrich really plants the seeds of the good, the good guys and bad guys. And slowly this grew into what we're seeing now, this complete break in our country that's heading very possibly towards a civil war again, or as I put it, the completion of the civil war, which I think has never been completed. I mean, this complete, this weakness of the Democrats continuing to placate the bad guys, placate the criminals. Don't get mad when they say somebody says they're refusing a subpoena. I mean, it's just placating these inbreds, these QAnon inbreds. I mean, we've been doing it our whole life, our whole existence. Who puts up statues of the guys who try to overthrow your government? You know what I mean? What's the matter with us? You put up a statue of General Lee, which, by the way, still exists all over the place. You name army bases after these guys, which still exist. They tried to overthrow the government. They're into slavery. What are we doing with these statues and army bases? And, there's a street,
I
think,
remember, that reminds me, I remember touring the camp at Dachau and walking through the museum, and every picture of Hitler, the patrons had come in and completely eviscerated the face of it. And that was the way they left it. You're right. And that was fitting, right? But you're right. We haven't learned that lesson.
Still going on.